Alexander Isak to receive new offer after Liverpool interest, with meeting going ahead. Liverpool have been heavily linked with a move for Alexander Isak this summer, with Newcastle approaching a crossroads with the striker, who has 3 years remaining on his contract. Alexander Isak is due to resume talks over his contract later this summer despite Liverpool interest. There's still a chance Alexander Isak joins Liverpool this summer, despite the Reds nearing a deal for Hugo Ekitike. Arne Slot's side have shown interest in Newcastle's key man, but shifted their focus to landing Eintracht Frankfurt's £79 million forward Ekitike, who is set to undergo a medical on Merseyside after it became clear the Magpies did not want to do business. Liverpool's interest in Isak, who has 3 years remaining on his contract, has sparked questions about his future at Newcastle and whether the club's Saudi owners would consider selling him. The Athletic reported discussions for a new deal are set to resume later this summer after Newcastle put pay rise negotiations on hold around this time 12 months ago. Speculation intensified after Isak was left out of Newcastle's squad that suffered a 4-0 defeat to Celtic in a pre-season friendly on Saturday. Nevertheless, the 25-year-old is expected to join his teammates on their upcoming trip to Singapore and South Korea. Eddie Howe provided a candid response when discussing Isak's absence from the Celtic match, acknowledging the interest in his striker, and his comments seemed to suggest Isak's future at St. James's Park could indeed be in doubt if the player wished to leave. "It's difficult for me to give 100% clarity on any player," he said after Saturday's loss. "Alex is happy at Newcastle. He loves the players, the staff, the team. I'm confident he'll be here at the start of the season. Yes, I've had discussions with him, but that's not abnormal. I respect a player's career and how short it is. Alex has been really good. He's trained really well, and I realize there'll be noise around him." Eddie Howe has suggested Isak will still be a Newcastle player at the end of the summer transfer window. Howe isn't the only key figure in any potential negotiations who has recently spoken out. Gonzalo Gaitan, understood to be one of Isak's representatives at sports agency Universal 22, has also hinted at a possible move, whether that's at Newcastle or another club. "Brian, we are indeed studying and analyzing all options," he said during an interview with Saudi Arabian outlet Ari Yadea. "And we may be close to finalizing the next step for the player, without revealing any details regarding whether Isak will transfer or stay with Newcastle." Isak was set for a pay rise on his current £150,000 a week of wages at Newcastle when talks were postponed last summer. While this salary is already substantial, it may not match what the player could earn elsewhere. It's understood the Magpies paused those talks while they were grappling with spending restrictions. However, Newcastle remained keen to retain their star player and plan to proceed with contract discussions later this summer. Hugo Ekitike is poised to join Liverpool in a deal believed to be worth around £79 million. Isak remains a top target for Slot, although Liverpool look all but certain to add another expensive piece to their attacking puzzle should Ekitike sign as expected. It's yet to be seen whether the Isak saga will simmer down once the Frenchman's signing is finalized. Ekitike's arrival would bring the Reds' summer spending to roughly £275 million, with £100 million or so of that used to sign Florian Wirtz. Despite Slot's slow start in terms of spending during his first summer at the helm of Anfield, he has made up for it after being crowned a Premier League champion. The price tag for Isak is rumored to be around £120 million, and Newcastle seem determined to keep the player at all costs. However, there appears to be a possibility this resistance could wane, and much will hinge on Isak's willingness to sign new terms in the Northeast. Bayer and BBB directors exchange barbs over Werners Liverpool move. Bayer and BBB directors exchange barbs over Werners Liverpool move. Bayer Leverkusen chief Fernando Caro has rejected fresh criticism over the sale of Florian Wirtz to Liverpool. Bayer sold the Germany attacker to Liverpool for a fee rising to £125 million. And Borussia Dortmund chief Hans-Joachim Watzke admits he was sorry to see the deal happen as it weakens the Bundesliga. "It's a real shame, especially for the DFL, that a player like Florian Wirtz is leaving the Bundesliga," Watzke told Kicker. "I wouldn't have had a problem at all if he had gone to FC Bayern. That would have been better for the Bundesliga. It doesn't really matter for the national team. He'll play at the highest level in Liverpool too. He could have worked better with Jamal Musiala in Munich, but two such good footballers can find each other anyway. In response, Caro snapped, "Honestly, yes. I have a different opinion than Hans-Joachim Watzke. I don't understand how he, as the boss of Borussia Dortmund, could have been happy if Wirtz had gone to Munich. That would have made Bayern even stronger. I want an exciting Bundesliga. I'm happy when more clubs besides us make life difficult for Bayern because I believe that benefits the Bundesliga. Better signing than Mbeumo, Man Utd in talks to land exceptional £60 million ace. Manchester United have been constantly pursuing a move for Brentford star Bryan Mbeumo throughout this summer window, but it appears their persistence has finally paid off. The Red Devils managed to agree a deal with the Bees for the 25-year-old forward in a move that could reach up to £71 million should all the add-ons be reached in the future. There's no denying that it's a huge fee for a player who's only had one top-level season in the Premier League, but it highlights the ambition shown by the board this window. The Cameroonian international registered 20 league goals last time around, over 2 times more than any player within Ruben Amorim's side that finished the 2024-25 campaign. However, despite agreeing to such a hefty sum for the forward, the hierarchy appear to be continuing their hunt for added reinforcements, including the signing of one player who could prove to be a better addition than that of Mbeumo. The latest on United's hunt for new additions this summer, Emiliano Martinez is one high-profile signing United are looking to complete during this summer's market, with the Aston Villa shot-stopper available for a fee in the region of just £21 million. It's been reported that the player himself would be keen on a move to Old Trafford, potentially taking advantage of Villa's PSR situation, which could require player sales before the end of the window. However, another player has emerged as a potential target for the Red Devils during the offseason, with RB Leipzig star Xavi Simons on their radar, according to Sport via Sport Witness. They claim that higher-ups from United have already had meetings with the Dutch international's representatives over a possible transfer before the September 1st deadline. It also states they aren't alone in their hunt for the 22-year-old, with Chelsea also firmly in the race for his signature, leading to a £60 million price tag being mooted. Why United's £60 million target would be a better signing than Mbeumo? Given his tally of goals last season, it's no surprise that a deal for Mbeumo would excite the fan base, subsequently handing Amorim the clinical talent he's lacked in attacking areas since arriving. However, the 25-year-old mainly operated in a wide right role at Brentford last season, a position which he won't be able to occupy at Old Trafford, given the manager's 3-4-2-1 system. It's already confirmed that he won't be utilized as a striker, leaving the Cameroonian to play in one of the 2 number 10 positions behind the striker, potentially partnering Matheus Cunha in providing the goods. Such a deal could prove to be a risk, splashing serious money on a player and utilizing him in a slightly unfamiliar role, especially considering the other options available this summer. As seen by their attempts to convince Simons to join the club have been targeting countless options, with the Dutchman a much bigger talent than Mbeumo. He's a younger star, subsequently having the potential to explode into an elite-level talent in the years ahead, and would have even been a cheaper deal given his £60 million valuation placed on his shoulders by the Bundesliga outfit. However, when comparing his stats to those of the pending new arrival, he managed to outperform him in multiple areas, highlighting why he'd be a better signing for Amorim's system. Simons, who's been labeled phenomenal by Optohan, may have been outscored, but did manage to post a better goal per shot on target rate than Mbeumo, showcasing he's more clinical with the chances he's presented with in front of goal. He also completed more key passes per 90, along with more progressive passes per 90, having the end product to allow those ahead of him to find the back of the net, a crucial component for any number 10 in the modern game. The Leipzig star's dominance doesn't stop there, completing more take-ons per 90, highlighting the ability he possesses with the ball at his feet, offering a more all-round threat than United's soon-to-be £71 million signing. Given the difference in figures produced and the price tags between the pair, it's evident that a deal for Simons would be a better signing for the Red Devils this summer. Both players possess a lot of talent, but ultimately, if the club are to reach the next level in the years ahead, they need to be making the correct calls in the market. something which they failed to do once again if they land Bomo over Simons. Alexander Isak absence explained as Newcastle star misses friendly after Liverpool approach. The Reds asked Newcastle about Isak's availability earlier this week, but did not lodge an official bid. Despite training this week, the striker is not involved in Saturday's game at Celtic Park. Alexander Isak was absent for Newcastle's opening game of pre-season. Liverpool transfer target. Alexander Isak was missing from Newcastle United's matchday squad against Celtic on Saturday as the Magpies continue their pre-season plans. Eddie Howe's side began its summer friendlies with a clash against Carlisle United last Saturday, and after training in Austria this week, Newcastle returned to the UK for Saturday's clash at Celtic Park. All eyes were naturally on Isak, given the speculation surrounding his future in recent days. Liverpool inquired about his availability this week, but did not launch an official bid for the Sweden star before turning its attention to Hugo Ekitike. The Magpies had previously been in talks about signing the Eintracht Frankfurt forward. Meanwhile, several reports on Friday claimed Isak is open to the possibility of joining Al Hilal, who ironically is owned by Newcastle's majority shareholders, the Saudi Arabia Private Investment Fund. Given the speculation and intrigue surrounding his future, there was surprise to see Isak had been left out of the matchday squad on Saturday, but Sky Sports reporter Keith Downey claimed via X that for both he and Joelinton, their minutes are being managed this early in preseason. The Newcastle team does contain several big names, with Nick Pope, Kieran Trippier, and Bruno Guimaraes starting, and Sandro Tonali, Anthony Gordon, and Anthony Elanga on the bench. Newcastle faces Celtic on Saturday afternoon at Celtic Park. After Saturday's game in Glasgow, like Liverpool, Newcastle jets off to Asia for a preseason tour. The Magpies face Arsenal, a K-League mission, in Tottenham Hotspur before returning to England. Newcastle's final preseason games come at home to Espanyol and Atletico Madrid on August 8th and 9th, which will give players the opportunity to get 90 minutes in their legs. The Northeast side faces Liverpool in its first home game of the season on August 25th. In the meantime, Newcastle has been linked with a move for Brentford striker Jon Wissa, with a deal for Ekitike seemingly blown out of the water by the Reds. Isak's future at Newcastle remains uncertain. As for Isak, his future remains uncertain. Reports have indicated the Liverpool will return with a bid for the player if the approach for Ekitike collapses. He is widely considered the best striker on the market this summer, although Newcastle has repeatedly insisted it has no plans to sell the 25-year-old, who netted 27 goals last season, including 2 against Liverpool. A move for Isak would likely indicate a departure for Darwin Núñez. The Liverpool striker has attracted interest from Saudi Arabia this summer, although Napoli's signing of Lorenzo Luca means Núñez is unlikely to end up at the Serie A champions.